Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and today is Friday, which means it's Book Review Friday. Once again, one of my favorite days of the week because it's Friday, but also I love these videos. So I'm very excited that it's Book Review Friday. Today's book that we are talking about is Who's There by Dimas Rio. I think that's how you say his name. I am so sorry if that's not. I feel like I say that in every single book review. I try to pronounce everyone's names correctly, but sometimes it just doesn't work. So this is Who's There. I was sent this book by the author. He kindly reached out and asked if he could send me his book in exchange for an honest review, and I said, of course. As you guys know, just because the book was sent to me, it doesn't mean that I will be giving it a glowing review, just because I'm going to tell you my full and honest thoughts. That way you know what you're getting into if you decide to read this book. So this is actually a collection of stories. So there are 5 stories inside this book. So I will be talking about each story individually, but giving brief summaries and just my slight overview of each story. I don't want to give you guys too much details because, you know, I want you guys to read this for yourself, so it's going to be kind of brief since this book is only 150 some pages. Yeah, it's not going to be a super long synopsis that I give you guys today, but I just want to give you guys a toe dip into the book. So let's talk about the cover. I love this cover. I was so shocked how cool the cover was when I got this in the mail, and it's just, I don't know, it just looks so cool. I just love it. I love this cover. It's so striking. It would definitely catch my eye on a bookshelf, or if I was scrolling online through books. I feel like this would definitely catch my attention. Also, I love the title, Who's There. I think, I don't know, it's just such a horror title. So let's get into a quick synopsis and I will tell you a little bit about each story. The first story is called Who's There, which is the title of the book, which I absolutely love when authors do that because I don't know, I like that they match. So the first story is called Who's There. Adam is about to marry Gita, but their relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Adam definitely has his issues and a guilty conscience. And the whole time you're wondering, what is Adam guilty of? So like I said, very short synopsis, but my thoughts on this story was that this was actually one of my favorites in the collection. I feel like it was very reminiscent of The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. This isn't exactly like The Telltale Heart, but it does give off that same vibe when you're reading it, especially with the whole guilty conscience and something's happened and you're trying to figure out what the main character has done. I feel like that just really reminds me of Edgar Allan Poe. The next story is called At Dusk. It's about a high school student who goes to a successful mystery author's house to interview him for the school magazine. The interview goes smoothly and everything seems to be going according to plan until the author decides to tell him a different kind of story. A true story. I really loved this one. It was a very short, but it was to the point. It gave me what I wanted. It creeped me out. It gave me the feeling that I really wanted while reading it. I really liked this story. It reminds me of urban legends that parents tell their children to kind of scare them and make them listen to the parents more. Kind of like La Llorona. That's a story I grew up hearing constantly. My dad would always tell me La Llorona, so I just feel like it's something similar to that, and I really like stories like that. The next story is called The Wandering, and it's about Badrun. I think that's how you say the character's name. I am not quite sure, but he is a security guard for a building. One night while he's doing his job and making sure everything is a-okay in the building, he hears noises and he tells his supervisor, but his supervisor isn't too worried. He just kind of laughs and says, oh, it's the ghosts, it's the demons, it's the goblins. They come out and play at night. They like to cause mischief, and nighttime is the perfect opportunity for them to come out and play. Then he starts finding letters, handwritten letters from someone to another person. He has no idea who these letters are from or who the letters are to, but he feels compelled to read them. This is actually the longest story out of the bunch, and I actually really like this one as well. I had no idea where the story was going, and it kind of surprised me, but I actually really liked how it played out. Overall, I really liked this one. I think it was nice that the longest one was kind of in the middle of the book and not at the end or the beginning. It kind of breaks up the short stories and the long stories and doesn't overwhelm you with one or the other. This next story is called The Voice Canal, and this is about Gio, who just recently lost his father a couple months ago, but somehow he's able to speak to his father from the other side. This is the shortest story out of the 5, and I actually really liked it. It's very sweet and kind of not like the rest of the stories. It's not very scary, but I still liked the overall premise of the story. It was cute, and I like stories about loved ones talking from beyond the grave. I don't know, it's just really sweet and kind of like pulls at my heartstrings a little, so I did enjoy it, but it's really not like the rest of the stories. The last story is called The Forest Protector, and I just want to give a disclaimer. This does mention self-harm in it, so just be wary of that. This story is about Alma and her son Rafa. It is told in alternating perspectives between the two. So you get the point of view of Alma and you get the point of view of Rafa, which I think is really cool. Alma is abused by her husband, and she decides to make the decision to protect herself and her son. This decision definitely leads them down a bumpy road. It definitely shows the level a mother will go to protect her child. This story is interesting. I didn't find it to be scary or really kind of with the other stories either, like The Voice Canal. I felt like these two were kind of the oddballs, but I really liked the parts where you read from Rafa, the son's point of view. I really liked that. It made it feel more real and raw, which I really liked. And I feel like it added a lot to the story. The story was interesting, but it probably was my least favorite out of the 5. Okay, so now that we're done talking about each story individually, I will give you my overall thoughts on the book as a whole. So overall, I liked each story, and I felt like they were each different from each other, and I appreciated that, so it wasn't like I was reading the same story over and over again. You could really tell that they were written by the same author because they had the same voice throughout each story, which I really like, because I feel like with books like these, sometimes the stories are too different and I lose some of that. I lose that feeling of them being cohesive. I also loved the element of Asian folklore. It's not something I see a lot in horror, at least not the books that I tend to gravitate towards, so maybe it's something that I miss a lot of times. I felt like it was really unique, and I felt like the plots were pretty different than what I've read before, which I appreciate. And he also had annotations at the bottom of pages if you didn't know what some words meant. I felt like I was learning a bit more about like Indonesian culture and Asian culture overall. I thought that was pretty nice. My only criticism is that I felt like some of these stories weren't very scary. I felt like some of them were missing the spooky factor. I could have done with more scary elements. I felt like each story was good. I just wasn't missing that spooky, creepy, scary feeling while reading them. I feel like the only story that kind of gave me that creepy feeling was Who's There and At Dusk. Those are the only two that I felt like really captured that scary, creepy feeling, and I just kind of wish they had all had that. The book is only 160 some pages. I think I said 150 earlier, but it's like 160, I just checked. I felt like the length of the stories were really good. None of them were too long, and none of them were too short. So I felt like that was a good balance, and overall I really enjoyed the book and I had fun reading it. A big thank you to Dimas Rio for sending me his book. I had a lot of fun reading it and I really enjoyed it. I'll have a link down in the description box if you guys want to check out the book for yourself. I think it's really good. I think it's fun, especially for some people that get scared really easily. I feel like these would be a good starter collection of stories to check out because they're not too scary, and I feel like a lot of people would be able to read these stories and not get too spooked or freaked out. So I highly recommend these if you aren't really involved in the horror genre but you want to start somewhere. These aren't too bad, and I think you would have a lot of fun reading them. So yeah guys, that's all I've got to say about Who's There. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you are enjoying from me. That way I can keep providing you with that content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We have hit 800. We're at like 820 now, which is insane. So thank you so much guys. That's incredible. I am so grateful. So thank you so much. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.